So, it's another episode of KJ's Playhouse, and this is what we're going to read today. The School's Alive by Jack Shavert. I haven't saw myself reading in a while, but maybe maybe tomorrow I'll make my next video of me reading the 7th Bad Guys book. Anyways, let's just get started. Eerie Elementary, the school is alive. Chapter 1, it begins. "This is horrible," said Sam Graves. He was holding up a shiny orange sash. "I can't believe I have to wear this." It was Monday morning, and Sam and his best friends, Antonio and Lucy, were standing in front of their lockers. They were waiting for the bell to ring. "Wait, you're a hall monitor?" Antonio said. "I didn't even know Eerie Elementary had hall monitors." Sam kicked at the floor. "They do now, and it stinks. The principal called my mom last night, and said I had been chosen. It's going to be terrible. I have to stand in the hallway and yell, 'Get to class!' and no skateboarding." Well, at least you get to wear that cool orange sash," Lucy teased. Sam stuck out his tongue. "Ring! Come on, that's the bell," Antonio said. And Sam frowned. "You guys go ahead. I have to make sure everyone has gone into class." "We'll see you inside," Lucy shouted. Within moments, the hallway was totally empty except for Sam. He began walking the hall. Sam looked through the double doors to the outside. He saw a classmate by the playground. "Hey, Brian!" Sam called out. "The bell rang. You should get to class." Brian frowned at Sam. Then he ran past him into the school. "You see, everyone hates the hall monitor," thought Sam. He was about to close the door when a cold breeze blew past. He saw that Brian had dropped his hat near the playground. Here's where the hat is. "My teacher won't mind if I sneak outside for a second," thought Sam. The air outside was like ice. Orange and red leaves whipped across the ground, and Sam shoved his hands into his pockets. He could see his breath. It looked like little ghosts were dancing through the air in front of him. Sam looked up at the school building. He thought it looked like an old castle made of crumbling red bricks. The paint on the doors and windows were chipped. Big black crows sat on the roof, watching Sam. The whole thing gave him the willies. Sam didn't want to be out there any longer than he had to. He ran over to the playground. He was near the swings when something grabbed his ankle. Sam looked down. His feet were sinking into the sand. Now, of course, feet do sink into sand. But not like this. Something was pulling him under. "Help!" Sam shouted. The sand was above his sneakers. He reached down to try to pull his feet free. The sand was wet. Quicksand? This was just like the quicksand from the old Tarzan movies. And Sam's dad made him watch. But Sam was pretty sure that quicksand was found in jungles in the movies. It's not on real life playgrounds. "Help! The playground is eating me!" Sam shouted. The sand was up to his knees now. Sam fought and kicked. He watched as Brian's hat was swallowed up by the sand. It was no use. The cold, wet sand was up to his waist. Sam squeezed his eyes shut as he was pulled down deeper and deeper. Chapter 2, Mr. Nakobe. Just as the quicksand was about to swallow Sam, a hand grabbed his wrist. His eyes shot open. It was Mr. Nakobe, the old man who took care of the school. Mr. Nakobe Sam was yanked free. Sam gasped for air. The playground Sam said, "It tried to eat me." Do you like his face? Mr. Jacoby slowly got to his feet. He was out of breath, too. His face looked like a piece of paper that someone had balled up and then tried to flatten again. He stared at Sam. His eyes were small and gray. A chill went up to Sam's spine. Mr. Jacoby growled, "You should be more careful, or you won't last long on this hall monitor, Sam Graves." "Be careful of what?" Be careful because other parts of the school might try to eat me?" Sam said. Then he paused. "Wait, what is that? What does my being the hall monitor have to do with this? Yes, and why do you care if I stay on as hall monitor or not?" Mr. Jacoby, he began walking away over his shoulder. Because I'm the one who chose you." "What does that mean?" Sam asked. But Mr. Jacoby didn't answer. He simply turned the corner out of sight. Sam shook his head, thinking, "This has been the weirdest day of my life, and it's only 8:30 in the morning." He needed to tell Lucy and Antonio about the quicksand and about creepy Mr. Jacoby. But first, he had to ditch the orange sash. Sam darted inside and flung open his locker. Whoa! He stumbled back and threw his hand over his nose. His locker stunk! Do you find this disgusting? I might give you some flashbacks about this, but don't worry, I'm still reading. The smell coming out of Sam's locker reminded him of rotten chocolate milk or something. "Yikes! What did I leave in here?" he asked. Sam shoved the sash inside his locker. Then he knew what it smelled like. Really bad breath. Excuse me. Sam slipped and Chapter 3. Tick-tock, tick-tock. Sam slammed his locker shut. He rushed into Mrs. Grinker's classroom. Mrs. Grinker was short and thin with his frizzy gray hair. She was listing everyone's parts for Friday's class play on the board. Sam slid into his desk between Antonio and Lucy. He whispered, "Guys, the freakiest thing just happened. I got trapped in quicksand on the playground." Lucy scrunched up her forehead. Antonio scratched his chin. They both tried not to laugh. "If it happened to you," Sam whispered, "you wouldn't be laughing." "Sam, Lucy, Antonio!" yelled Mrs. Grinker. All three kids faced front. "Please pay attention," Mrs. Grinker said. "I'm still giving out parts for the Peter Pan." "And I'm playing Peter Pan," Antonio whispered to Sam. He had a big smile on his face. He always did. He was the happiest kid Sam knew. "And I'm playing Wendy," Lucy whispered. "Sam Graves, you'll be playing Noodler. He's one of Captain Hook's friendly pirates," it said Mrs. Grinker. Sam nodded, but all he could think about was the man-eating playground. As the day wound down, Sam stared out the window. An old oak tree was blowing in the breeze. It was moving strangely. Sam leaned forward on his desk. The tree looked like a giant oak hand waving at Sam. "Does this look like a hand?" Sam shivered. Then he looked at the clock across the room. "How long until this day is over?" he thought. Sam could hear the clock. Tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. "How can I hear the clock from all the way over here?" he wondered. Take a guess on how far he can hear the clock. Then the sound of the clock changed. Sam no longer heard tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. The sound became ba-bump, ba-bump. Sam was even more confused. That doesn't sound like a normal clock, but I do know. Oh, that sound. Ba-bump, 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 ba-bump. It sounded like a beating heart. Chapter 4. Something awakens. Sam covered his ears, but he couldn't get away from the sound of the clock. Not until ring! The day was over. Sam followed the other kids into the hall. He grabbed the hall monitor sash from his stinky locker. See you tomorrow, Sam, Lucy said. And she and Antonia threw their backpacks over their shoulders and ran outside. Sam sighed. He wanted to run home too. He wanted to plop down on the couch and fall asleep. Then he wanted to wake up and learn this whole day had been a terrible nightmare. But instead, he had to go on hall monitor duty. Not good. Sam stood near the third grade lockers. The only thing keeping Sam awake was the cool chill across his neck. It felt like the school was breathing on him. Sam saw he was beneath the air vent. Brrr. There were no teachers around, so Sam thought there would be no harm in sitting down. He slipped into a chair just outside the principal's office. I'll only rest here for a minute, but soon Sam's eyelids felt heavy. They were closing. Sam was falling asleep. When Sam woke up, he was beyond confused. The halls were dark, nearly pitch black. What time is it? He wondered, standing up. Sam rubbed his eyes. He ran. Hang on. Excuse me. He ran to the end of the hall. He peered through the big double door. It was black and midnight outside. How long was I asleep? My mom was going to freak out, thought Sam. I have to get home now. He yanked on the doors, but they were locked. Hello? Sam whispered. Is anyone here? I fell asleep. And clang, clang, clang. Sam spun around. All of the locker doors flung open, one after the other, all the way down the hall. Sam jumped back. His heart was pounding. Clang, clang, clang. All the lockers' doors were slammed shut again. Sam was really hoping this was just a nightmare. He spun back around. He tugged as hard as he could on the doors, but it was no use. He was trapped inside Eerie Elementary. Chapter 5. The Skeleton. The double doors flew open, knocking Sam onto the floor. Then they slammed him shut again. He was still trapped inside the school. Ouch! Sam yelled. Everyone knows you can't get hurt in a dream, so this must be real. He needed to escape. The school was coming to life all around him. Sam ran into his classroom. He threw his hands against a large window. He was hoping to see anyone who could help him. All he saw was a giant oak tree blowing in the wind. But it wasn't windy. Sam saw other trees, and none of those trees were blowing. All leaves on the ground weren't whooshing around at all. The only thing moving was that one oak tree. Could the tree be alive? Sam thought. Smash! The glass window shattered. Sam fell to the floor as one of the tree's long twisted branches came and crashing through. It wrapped around Sam's leg. Sam began hitting the branch. Whack, whack, whack. Finally, the branch's grip loosened. And Sam was able to crawl away behind him, and he heard the branch scraping across the floor like fingernails on a chalkboard. The tree was reaching for him, trying to pull him back. He pushed his hallway through falling He pushed his way through falling desks. He stumbled back into the hallway. Pieces of glass was crunched beneath his feet. Then clang, clang, clang. All the locker doors were swinging open and shut at once again. All the classroom doors were doing the same thing. But worst of all was that Sam saw next. A figure stood at the end of the hallway. It had a body like a skeleton. Lights flashed and doors clanged. But the figure didn't move. It just stood there, perfectly still, staring at Sam. Chapter 6. The danger is real. All of a sudden, and the figure started running towards Sam. It was Mr. Nakobe. What's happening? What's happening? Sam shouted. No time to explain. Get down! Mr. Nakobe yelled. One of the hallway fire hoses had come to life. And it was like a long octopus tentacle. The hose crashed into the old man and knocked him to the floor. Then it came for Sam. Sam ducked as the fire hose whipped above his head. Blam! The heavy metal nozzle slammed into the lockers. That thing almost hit me, Sam gasped. The fire hose wasn't done. It kept whipping through the air. Wrestle it, Mr. Nakobe shouted. Are you nuts? Sam screamed. Grab onto it, Mr. Nakobe yelled from down on the floor. Sam gulped. The fire hose whipped around again. Sam leapt up in the air just as the hose flew beneath him. He wrapped both arms around it and held on tight. Ah! He screamed. Tie the hose! As Mr. Nakobe yelled, Sam grabbed the hose and tugged. He used all his might to pull the hose back around itself. He knotted it like a giant shoelace. The monstrous fire hose shook. It was choking. The hose crashed to the ground. Whoop! Sam smacked against the cold hallway floor. And just like that, everything stopped. The wild fire hose, the banging lockers, and the flashing lights. The school hasn't been active in a very long time, Mr. Nakobe said, getting to his feet. Sam blinked twice. What? Never mind, it's late. Hey, you should go home. But the school, it's alive? Sam said. I don't understand. Mr. Nakobe handed Sam his backpack. Get home now. Now, he ordered. Sam wanted answers. But even more than answers, he wanted out of that school. He turned on his heel, shoved open the now unlocked double doors, and ran home. He didn't stop once. Where have you been? Sam's mom yelled. As Sam came running through the door. I was worried sick. Sam threw his backpack onto the kitchen floor. He kicked off his sneakers. One nearly hit his mom in the head. The other bounced off a cabinet. Mom, you won't believe it, Sam said. In between gulping for air, hang on. Excuse me. He began to tell the tale. First, I almost got eaten by quicksand. Then a tree broke through the classroom window and Sam, his mom said, cutting him off. Tell me the real reason you are late. Sam sighed. Of course she wasn't going to believe him. Antonio and Lucy had not believed him either. At last, Sam said, in hall monitor duty. Chapter 7. Believe me. I, Peter Pan, and challenged a friendly pirate to a fight, Antonio yelled. He swung an invisible sword through the air. It was Tuesday morning, and Sam, Antonio, and Lucy were walking to school. They were practicing their Peter Pan lines. But Sam couldn't focus on his lines. He could not stop thinking about what happened the night before. Antonio laughed. Sam, you have the worst part to play. You only have a few lines toward the end. And really, who wants to be a friendly pirate anyway? Huh? Sam said. Sam is not even paying attention, Lucy moaned. This play is going to be a disaster. Everything is going to go wrong. Antonio and in his pocket, smiling. Not as long as I have my lucky sandwich. Antonio and Sam had been friends since kindergarten, and Antonio had always carried a peanut butter and jelly sandwich around in his pocket. Sometimes he carried the same sandwich around for weeks. Sam thought it was a little bit disgusting, but also a little bit awesome. Sam stopped walking. Guys, I really need to tell you something. Sam looked around to make sure no one was nearby. He pulled his friends in close. Remember the quicksand I told you about yesterday? I know you don't believe me, but after school, more weird stuff happened. I fell asleep while on hall monitor duty. I believe that, Antonio joked. Listen, Sam said. When I woke up, the school was going crazy. I was attacked by the oak tree. Then Mr. Kobe saved me, but I think there might be a bad guy or something. He's super weird. Antonio frowned. You're losing your mind, Lucy agreed. I'm starting to worry about you, Sam. Sam ran his head and drew his hair and said, just wait until we get to school. You'll see there's a broken window and busted lockers, and the fire hose is tied in a big knot. When they got to school, Sam rushed past his friends and up the front steps. What he saw blew his mind. Everything was back to normal. It was like nothing had happened. The fire hose was wound up and the lockers were closed. No, Sam whispered. This doesn't make any sense. Antonio gently pushed Sam in the arm. You should really get some more sleep. Your nightmares sound serious. Ring! The morning bell rang, and everyone began filling into the class. The huge window in Mrs. Rinker's class wasn't broken. Even the oak tree looked normal. This is a regular Tuesday morning, but not for Sam. Sam wanted answers, and he thought he knew where to get them, but first, Sam, hurry up, Lucy said, running into class. Sam groaned. He had to check the hall, and then get to class too. His answers would have to wait. Chapter 8, Into the Darkness. As soon as the bell rang for recess, Sam went looking for Mr. Nakobe. He spotted him outside the janitor's closet. Sam watched Mr. Nakobe open the closet door. Mr. Nakobe looked both ways down the hall. Excuse me? Excuse me again. Like he was afraid he was being watched. Then, very slowly, the old man reached into the dark closet. He grabbed hold of a dim, swinging light bulb. Mr. Nakobe tugged twice on the light bulb. Run. There was a rumbling noise as the real wall of the closet began to move. A secret door, Sam thought. Mr. Nakobe stepped through. Sam swallowed. Sweat was pouring off his brow. He needed to know the truth about Eerie Elementary. This was his chance. Sam darted across the hall. He closed the closet door behind him. Then he leapt through the secret doorway. Sam found himself in a large room with punching bags, pieces of old lockers, and school chairs with 3 legs. The room was dark. It smelled wet. Sam Graves, Miss Nakobe said. I've been waiting for Sam. Cut him off. Of what happened last night. And how was everything back to normal? Well, today, I know I didn't imagine all this stuff, Miss Nakobe said. You imagined nothing. You place your hand against a wall. And focus. Sam frowned. You're nuts. Do you want to know the truth or not? Mr. Nakobe said. And Sam sighed, then and placed his palm against the cool brick wall. The room grew quiet. Then he heard it. It was the soft sound of air blowing, and he felt it. The wall was gently swaying. It was the school. The school was breathing. Sam backed away from the wall. What's happening? And he stuttered. Mr. Jacoby walked towards Sam. As his face passed through the shadows, he looked almost inhuman. Eerie Elementary is alive, Mr. Jacoby said. And Sam shook his head. That can't be. That's impossible. Mr. Jacoby continued. This school is a living, breathing thing. It is a beast, a monster. And there's only one person who can keep his students safe. Who? Sam asked softly. Mr. Jacoby stopped down until he was face to face with Sam. You, Sam raves, the hall monitor. Chapter 9. Hero? In a strange hidden room, the man was telling Sam that school was alive, and that he was supposed to keep everyone safe. He couldn't believe it. I too was a hall monitor, said Mr. Jacoby. Eerie Elementary's first hall monitor, and since then I had been here to fight the school and protect the students. But now I am old and weak, and the school knows it. The school knows that, and now's the time to strike. It is planning something big. Sam collapsed in a chair. There were goosebumps all over his body. But how can the school be alive? I don't understand. The source of the school's power is a mystery, Mr. Jacoby said. But I notice it is evil. It feeds on students, and it is not fed in a long time. It is hungry. Sam's heart was pounding. Mr. Jacoby continued. As hall monitor, you have the ability to sense the school, to see and feel and hear what others cannot. But you must be careful, because the school can sense you too. It has attacked you twice already. It knows you are its enemy. Sam gulped. Mr. Jacoby said softly, You must be our hero now, Sam Graves. Do you have it in me? Sam wondered. Sam thought about the quicksand and the tree and the lockers. What if that had happened to Lucy or Antonio? The school could have eaten them. If the school was planning something big, then my friends are in danger. Sam turned to Mr. Jacoby and said, Okay, I'll do what I must. Mr. Jacoby smiled. Good. So now what? Asked Sam. Now you begin your training, said Mr. Jacoby. He yanked on a filthy white sheet, uncovering what looked to be a large metal monster. Then he walked back out through the secret door, leaving Sam all alone. Or so he thought. This is where it gets bad. Chapter 10. The Machine. The giant metal thing was made up of different parts: an old refrigerator, pieces of a vending machine, and banged up lockers. It had a rusty head dotted with 2 splashes of red paint. There were brooms, buckets, and wooden hockey sticks jumping out from it, too. Sam took a deep breath. He was about to step towards it when Sam! A voice shouted. Sam spun around. It was Antonio. Antonio? What are you doing here? Sam exclaimed. I followed you since you've been acting like a total weirdo. I was hiding behind some junk over there, Antonio said. Did you hear everything Mr. Jacoby said? Sam asked. Antonio nodded. Do you believe him? Sam asked. Not really. I think you're both crazy, he said Antonio. Then he walked over to the machine. There was a note taped to the front. Antonio tore it off. Antonio smiled and said, I may not believe you, but I will help you train. This big monster machine thing is awesome. Sam perked up. Having a friend by his side made him feel 1,000 times better. Look, there's a switch on the front, Antonio said. He flicked the switch, and the machine came to life. Antonio jumped back. The giant machine charged towards Sam. The top part spun, and a hockey stick lashed out. Sam rolled underneath the hockey stick. He came up behind the machine. The machine's head whirled around. It began shooting tennis balls out of its big round eyes. Watch out, Antonio said. Sam threw his arm over his face, but the tennis balls knocked him to the ground. Sam pounded his fist onto the cement floor. This is ridiculous. I don't know how to do any of this, he yelled. Antonio stuck out his hand, quickly helping his friend to his feet. Try using what's around you. Vajoom. A tennis ball whizzed between Sam and Antonio. Antonio ducked behind a nearby trash can. Sam looked around and saw a busted locker door. Here goes nothing, he thought. Sam grabbed the locker door, held it up like a shield, and ran straight at the machine. The tennis balls bounced off it. When Sam got close enough, he tossed the door aside and climbed to the top of the machine. Then he yanked the electrical cord from its head. The machine rumbled and coughed. Finally, it was silent. Sam hopped down. Wow, Antonio said, scratching the back of his neck. Dude, you're the boss of right now. Oh, Sam turned to his friend, smiling. But it sounds like this was only the beginning. Chapter 11. Something big. For the next 2 days, Sam and Antonio trained before school, during recess, and after school. Lucy now thought both of her best friends were losing their minds. She wouldn't believe a word they said. Sometimes Mr. Jacoby poked his head to check on Sam, but the old man didn't do much else. Sam understood that Mr. Jacoby was weak. Now it was Sam's job to protect the school. While Sam was walking home alone on Thursday, Mr. Jacoby's words echoed in his head. The school is planning something big. What could the school? Well, Sam's thoughts were interrupted by the feeling of his cold fingers on his back. Eek! Sam shrieked. He spun around. Lucy, you scared me. Do you think it was the school trying to eat you? Lucy teased. I don't know what you and Antonio have been doing in the past 3 days, but you better be for tomorrow. What's tomorrow? Sam asked. Lucy rolled her eyes. Hang on. Excuse me. Then she shoved the crumpled up piece of paper into Sam's hands. As Sam read the words, his heart began to pound. It all made sense. Sam knew exactly when the school would strike. Chapter 12. Beast from Below. It was opening night. Hang on. You know, Chapter 11 and 12 are right next to each other, 2 pages away for some reason. Chapter 12, Beast from the Below. It was opening night, and the school auditorium was packed. Sam stuck his head through the red curtains and peered out. He saw hundreds of parents and teachers in the audience. He even saw his mom and Lucy's little brother. Suits were changing into their costumes backstage. Antonio, as Peter Pan, was wearing green from head to toe. And Lucy wore a yellow dress as Wendy. Sam pulled Antonio aside. Right, I've got a feeling something really bad is going to happen, he whispered. Maybe we should stop by the play. Maybe we should stop the play. We could tell Miss Grinker. And we'll cut him off. Sam, everyone will think we're crazy. I'm still not sure we are. Sam sighed. He knew Antonio was right. Besides, Antonio said, I got my lucky peanut butter and jelly sandwich in my pocket. What could go wrong? Sam rolled his eye. His lucky sandwich. Before Sam could say anything else, the lights dimmed. The audience went peace and quiet. The play was about to start. Lucy rushed over. She pulled Antonio toward the stage. Wish us luck, Sam. She whispered as she and Antonio marched out on stage. Sam sighed. Good luck. 2 hours later, Sam was smiling from ear to ear. He couldn't believe it. The play was actually going okay. Lucy was saying her lines perfectly. Antonio made an awesome Peter Pan, and the audience was clapping a ton. Maybe he had been worried for nothing. The next scene was the most exciting part of the play, the big finish. Antonio and Lucy were strung up on wires high above the stage, like they were flying. Sam, Mrs. Brinker said, it's your turn on stage. All right, Sam muttered. He stepped out onto the spotlight and began to say his lines. I'm Noodler, Captain Hook's friendly pirate. I order you to... Sam stopped. He felt something move below his feet.
Rumble, rumble, rumble.
With horror, Sam realized the school had been waiting for him. Now that he was on stage, the school is coming to life. This is where it gets horrible. This was it. There were some whispers in the audience. People thought Sam had forgotten his lines, but Sam didn't care about his lines. He cared about what he saw next. A trapdoor in the floor was opening from up high. Lucy and Antonio saw it too. The trapdoor was opening wider and wider. It was like the wooden stage was suddenly made of rubber. Sam's heart pounded as he looked down into the darkness below. There he saw the true terror. Beneath the stage, hundreds of metal folding chairs were opening and closing like a set of giant jagged teeth. And high above this hungry mouth, Antonio and Lucy were dangling on their wires. They were about to be eaten alive. Chomp, chomp, chomp. Chapter 13, Worm Mouth. Swish! The big red curtain swooshed shut. The audience gasped. They could no longer see the stage. A closet door banged open behind Sam. Then the floorboards lifted it up to form a slide. Mrs. Brinker and the other students tumbled backward into the closet. From off stage, Mr. McCoby yelled, Sam, it's happening! He ran towards Sam, but the curtain ropes grabbed hold of him. The ropes flung Mr. McCoby inside the closet too. The door snapped shut. Next, the lights went out. Only one spotlight stayed on. It was pointed at Sam, Lucy, and Antonio. The audience can't see the stage, and the teachers and students are trapped in the closet. Sam thought, I'm the only one who can save everyone. The chair mouth began to climb up out of its hole in the floor, like a worm coming up out of the ground. Lucy and Antonio began kicking and screaming. What is that? Lucy yelled. Antonio thrashed out his wire, trying to get away from the huge teeth. As he swung, his lucky peanut butter and jelly sandwich slipped from his pocket. It fell down into the giant mouth. The sandwich splattered against the chair teeth. Sam got an idea. I'll be back, he shouted up to his friends. Don't leave us, Sam, Lucy cried. She was fiddling with her wire, trying to untie herself. Just trust me, Sam said. He leapt over to the giant mouth. Everyone in the audience gasped as Sam jumped out from behind the closet curtain. He sprinted out of the dark auditorium and into the hallway. When Sam reached the end of the hall, he pushed open the lunchroom door. It was quiet and dark, but as soon as Sam stepped inside, the lunchroom came alive. The chair shook, the tables buckled up and down, and the ceiling lamps swung. A deep moaning sound came from a speaker on the wall. Eerie Elementary was howling. Murk! Sam needed to get into the kitchen, but every step he took seemed to make the school angrier. Packages of cookies exploded, tables flipped over, light bulbs above his head had shattered. Suddenly, the vending machine began carrying bottles of water at him. One blasted Sam in the chest, knocking him onto his back. I'll never make it all the way to the kitchen, he thought, unless... Excuse me? Sam thought back to his training. He remembered telling him what to use around him. Sam leapt to his feet, grabbed an orange lunch tray, and held it over his chest. He hopped up on the table and sprinted down the length of it. As he charged through the kitchen, the vending machine fired more water balls at him. The bottles bounced off his shield. Sam jumped off the end of the table, hit the ground, and rolled into the kitchen. Then he saw it. The one thing that could save his friends. Pow! Pow! Chapter 14. Eat this. Sam stared up at a giant drum of peanut butter. It was stacked high atop a table full of food supplies. He shook the table, then jumped back. Jars of secret sauce and cans of soup crashed to the ground, along with the peanut butter drum. Sam rolled the drum out through the lunchroom door. He gave it a heavy push. It barreled down the hall, clearing a path. Pow! The drum knocked the monstrous chair out of the way. Boom! The drum sent a spinning trash can flying. Clam, clam, clam! The drum blasted. It drew a set of locker doors. The peanut butter drum crushed everything in its way. At least Sam made it backstage with the drum. Ran towards him. Lucy! Sam yelled. How did you get down? I was able to untie myself, but I couldn't teach Antonio. He's stuck and Sam put the drum toward the stage and looked up. The giant mouth had grown larger. It is now made of hundreds of folding chairs that together formed 100 teeth. His two of the teeth had hold Antonio's green pants, and any second now he would be eaten alive. Help! Yelled Antonio. Sam, what can we do? Asked Lucy. Follow my lead, Sam said. The mouth was about to chomp into Antonio. Just then, Sam shouted, Hey, Eerie Elementary! Are you hungry? The monstrous chair mouth turned away from Antonio. It faced Sam and Lucy and let out a growl. Roar! Sam and Lucy didn't flinch. They stood perfectly still. The mouths opened wide. Lucy grabbed hold of Sam's arm. Sam held his breath. As the giant mouths charged toward them, the stage floorboards were breaking apart. Sam stared into the center of the chopping, thrashing mouth. It was upon them. Now! Sam screamed. Together, Sam and Lucy kicked the heavy peanut butter drum as hard as they could. It bowed across the stage, right into the giant mouth. The teeth chomped down on the drum, and... Kaboom! The drum burst open, and gallons of peanut butter flew everywhere. The peanut butter was going up the monster's mouth. The chewing slowed, then stopped. Lucy and Sam bumped fists. You did it! Antonio shouted from up high. I couldn't have done it without you two, said Sam, smiling. And the sticky mouth slid back down through the trapdoor. The trapdoor closed. The floor returned to normal. It was over. Eerie Elementary was silent. Then, all of a sudden, the stage curtain swooshed open. Chapter 15. Sam Graves, Hall Monitor. The lights came on. The closet door opened. Mrs. Grieger, Mr. Nakobe, and the students stumbled out. For a moment, everyone was quiet. The island looked around, confused. Mrs. Grieger walked out on stage. Let's have a hand for the kids. That play was amazing, she said. Sam's mom started clapping. Wonderful job, Sam, she yelled. Soon everyone was clapping. No one had any idea what just happened. Lucy held Antonio from down his wire. Then she whispered to Sam, now what? Sam smiled. Now we take our bath. Backstage, the students were changing out of their costumes. Mr. Jacoby took Sam aside. "You did well tonight, Sam Grave," he said. "Everyone here is in good hands." Then he walked away. Sam ran over to his friends. He burst out, "I told you guys the school was alive. Now do you believe me?" Antonio and Lucy were talking so fast that Sam could hardly understand them. He laughed and said, "Guys, relax. I'll tell you everything." As he did, as they were walking out front for their parents, Sam told his friends everything there was to tell about Eerie Elementary. The school cast long shadows lit by the moon. 2 large windows were open, and inside 2 lights burned like eyes, watching the 3 best friends. Sam reached into his backpack. He felt the hall monitor sash that just a few days earlier he had been embarrassed to wear. Now he had a sudden urge to put it on. He knew it wouldn't be long before Eerie Elementary would strike again. The end.
The end.
46 minutes.